Tony Robbins once said, "Everything happens for a reason and a purpose, and it serves you." Hi, my name is Sydney Ketterman, and this is the story of how I fell in love with musical theater. When I was invited by my friends Lexi and Jenna to go watch the movie musical In the Heights, I thought nothing of it. I just wanted to go spend time with friends, and I liked movies. But little did I know this would basically change my whole life. As soon as the movie was over, I knew I was obsessed. I mean, I immediately declared it my new favorite movie. In fact, I went back a week later to watch it with my mom. I was so obsessed. One thing about movie musicals is there's always a stage adaptation. And I knew from that moment, if it was my favorite movie, who knows what the musical would be like. Now, I didn't think the musical could be as good as the movie because I was so in love with the movie that I didn't think it could get any better, but I was so wrong. Fast forward to April, my birthday. My parents handed me an envelope, and most people can assume what's in a birthday envelope. A little note that says, "We love you, enjoy your next year, we can't believe you're growing up," maybe some money, but not for me. When I opened the envelope, I saw a piece of printer paper. When I unfolded it, it read, "In the Heights. This is one free ticket to spending a 5-day girls' trip watching In the Heights." Now, I kind of knew what this meant, but I was also like, what is this? So grateful for it, but I was just a little confused what I was looking at. And so it turns out me, my mom, and my grandma would soon go down to St. Louis to spend a 5-day road trip seeing In the Heights on stage. I never thought it was going to happen. And the fact that I'm finally going to see my favorite musical on stage live in person, I was freaking out. The next thing I knew, we were heading to St. Louis. We spent the first day road tripping down there and then ended up going up in the Arch. The next day, we went to the big aquarium. The next day, we tried out a cupcake shop. And then finally, it was the day that my dreams would come true. I put on my fancy blue outfit. I put on some platform shoes. I even straightened my hair. I could not wait to go see this. I spent hours getting ready. And finally, we arrived at the theater. Now, when I first saw the theater, I was like, it's a little smaller than anything I'd ever been to. And I was intrigued. I mean, I didn't mind that it was small. I was just not sure what to expect. Since I was so in love with the movie, I didn't know what this quality was going to be like. But I decided to give it a shot. I mean, I was still excited to go see it in person. We went to this little cafe area which had themed cookies, it had themed drinks, it even had special souvenir cups. Um, and it was just really like a cool experience. There was this elegant backdrop that resembled the city of New York. I mean, it truly was the most incredible set I've ever seen. Once the first number started, I had trouble staying in my seat. I mean, all I wanted to do was stand up and run up on that stage. By the end of the first number, my jaw was literally dropped. I could not believe how amazing this was. And I just knew the rest was only going to get better. Throughout the first and the second act, all I saw was pure perfection on that stage. I spent the rest of the night replaying the show in my head. I could not fall asleep. I was just so invested in what I had seen. I mean, the thrill I felt sitting in that theater was nothing I'd ever experienced before. Yet still, I lie awake that night just feeling restless and incomplete. I mean, it was the first time I truly felt happy that summer, and I couldn't get enough of it. It was the most heartfelt, impactful, perfect thing I had ever seen. I continue to look back on those photos way more often than I should, and all I see is a girl living her dream. Even though I don't really remember all the details from that night anymore, I'll always remember how truly happy I felt that night. I mean, just thinking about it brings me a comfort, and I decided that I couldn't just ignore it. I had to indulge myself in musical theater. I started by choreographing for my school's musicals, Elf and Mean Girls. These were good experiences, but there was still a part of me that felt incomplete. I knew what I had to do. I had to be in a summer musical. So I looked at theaters nearby and I landed on Rock Valley College's Starlight Theater. When I looked up their set list, I saw that they were doing In the Heights. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that I had just seen In the Heights and now there was a chance I could be in it after it completely changed my life. So I submitted a video audition and landed a role in the ensemble. In the Heights led to this weird phenomenon for me where whenever I wasn't at the Starlight Theater, I felt miserable. I mean, once I was in Rockford, that little piece of myself that wasn't fulfilled was finally satisfied. So anytime I wasn't there, it just, I wanted to go back. I had to go back. Since then, I have seen more musical productions than I can count, but In the Heights still remains my favorite. Nothing will touch that perfection that was on that stage. I like sharing this story because it proves that if you just follow your heart, it will open a whole new world of possibilities. I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't go to St. Louis, and I wouldn't have been to St. Louis if I didn't want to spend time with my friends seeing the movie. Thank you all for listening to my story.